Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of the Going Racing Podcast here on the channel. You are joined by myself and Jay Cook as the usual. We are back to our typical Sunday night. It's just before 8:30 p.m. The Cup race just ended a few hours ago. Jay, I just woke up, I had a nice 20-minute nap, and I've got my Starbucks double shot.
You sound that sleepy after 20 minutes?
I was out cold.
Wow, that's...
And now I've got my double shot, and I'm ready to go. So how are you?
I am doing quite swell. As long as I don't go outside right now, we're good. Going outside means instant death with all this pollen, so I am a hermit crab for the next month.
You're like,
Not really, but...
like the Intimidator, like Dale Earnhardt, but you're like the Pollinator.
That has a bit of a double meaning there. I'm not sure I like that.
I don't know what other meaning it could have. I don't know what any meaning.
What is pollen for the plants, Mr. Owen? Them trees ejaculating.
Okay. Welcome back, everybody, to a new episode of Moving On. We just watched Martinsville. We had the Cup race. We had the Xfinity race. There was a truck race. I didn't watch the truck race. I don't know why. To be honest, it was Friday night. Oh, I completely forgot it was on. That's right. And then I saw Daniel Hemrick won on Twitter. I was like, oh, nice.
Yeah,
good for
Daniel
him.
Hemrick did win.
So shout out to him. And I think I've got some...
race of the weekend.
Yeah, it was. I feel like the Cup race was pretty clean.
Cup race wasn't horrible, but it still had double-digit cautions, I think, or it was close to it.
No, there ain't no way. It had the two-stage cautions.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, it might have been close.
At one point, Mike said it was 9.
It might have been close, but at least it wasn't like a disaster type of race.
No, it was not. No, that's not what I was trying to say at all.
But I do have a strong opinion of that Cup race that we can dive into, as Denny Hamlin is back in victory lane after almost a year. I think one of my predictions at the beginning of the year was he would not win a race this year with his new crew chief. He's proven that wrong in 6 races, 7 races, something like that. So I'd say congrats to him. He's done a good job. And honestly, though, I didn't realize that it had been a full decade since he had won in Martinsville. But clearly, he was by far the best car today.
Yeah, I agree with you. He dominated the darn thing, and truly was the Denny Hamlin of old. And like you said, we both thought coming into the season that he was not going to get a win this year. And well, he's proved us wrong already. 7 races in, I think it is now. So Hamlin showed up there and was the best he's been at Martinsville in a long, long time. Like you said, did not realize it was a decade since he last won there. It feels like it's only been a few years, maybe. That's how good he's been at that track. But obviously just not getting the wins. But he did today. And of course, the new progressive deal, 2nd race on the car, he puts him in victory lane. I'm sure they're happy about that.
I want to talk about that car.
Almost did a full entire victory lap burnout, which was very cool. Of course, Hamlin, I think, has the best burnouts in the Cup Series and has for a long time. So that was also pretty cool to see. And it was nice that Fox actually showed it. It just a pure Denny Hamlin dominant race.
He led 274 laps of the 400. That progressive paint scheme.
The next closest that I heard at one point was Elliott with 40-something, I think.
Yeah.
That might have changed by the end, but I don't know.
No, because he led the whole time after that.
Okay, so it was a Hamlin dominant race, that's for sure. You were saying, I'm sorry.
That paint scheme is fantastic.
I do quite enjoy the paint scheme a lot.
That shade of blue.
It's basic, but it's good basic.
And as well, they got a unique identity with the P going across the front bumper.
Yeah, the P emoji.
So
it looks exactly like the P emoji.
Yeah, everyone knows oh, that's Hamlin's car.
It's kind of like the paint schemes of old, where it's not overly complicated, but it's not overly simple. It's designed well, and Progressive used the space very well, which not a lot of sponsors have done, but they did it very well.
It's like a progressive approach to modern day schemes.
Anyways, Yeah, the paint scheme is nice. Like I saw people saying that it was basic and stuff like that when it first came out, but that's not a bad thing. It looks good. Oh,
Breaking news, 8:31
breaking
p.m.
news. Yeah.
Erik Jones. I was waiting for you to finish, and then as soon as you said, "Oh, I knew," it was like I already know where he's going. 43 cars disqualified for failing to meet minimum
From 24th
weight.
place, by the way.
Not a terrible day for Erik Jones,
Oh no.
but rip Erik Jones out down to
Interesting that
38.
Oh no, I guess no, never mind. There still is post-race inspection. I'm kind of dumb. I don't know why I thought for some reason he wouldn't go through post-race inspection. But yeah, that's very interesting that he finishes 24th and still was not meeting the minimum requirements.
I have a question.
All right.
I'm a very loyal NASCAR fan. I've been for over a decade now, but I still fail to understand how a car can not have that issue pre-race and fail post-race.
I don't know how to. I'm also not the expert on this, so I'm not sure that I'm going to answer your question the best I can. But things can happen. Like they put weights in the car to actually make the car make minimum weight. Sometimes those can fall out. Maybe I don't know if they weigh the driver and the car together. I don't know.
What if Erik Jones lost 17 pounds today?
Yeah. I don't think they weigh the car and the driver like they do in other motorsports, but weights can fall out of the car. Just things can happen, and they can just not meet minimum weight because of it. Or physically, they went in and took weight out of the car in between, somehow found a way to sneak weight out and then forgot to put it back in or something. I don't know, but I'm not an expert on that. I'm not sure I'm giving you a good answer, but these things can happen. And also, maybe they really were cheating and completely forgot to put the weight back in. I don't know.
Well, he's done, and maybe they'll appeal it. Who knows? But Bowman got busted for that in Charlotte. They never did appeal that, so we'll see what comes out of that. So Denny Hamlin wins the race. Stage 1 went to Joey Logano. That was a bit of a weird ending in Stage 1 because... So I got home, and a little side story, man, today it was wild, man. The freezers went down, and... water was going all over the place and I had to take care of it. That was a wild day, but I get home. I was so tired just because I didn't really sleep a lot last night. So like there was one point in Stage 1, I fell asleep for like not even 10 minutes. It was like 7-8 minutes. And next thing you know, like, oh, we're under caution. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, oh, the stage is over. No, the stage isn't over. And I think it was Burt Myers that had brought out a yellow, if I'm not mistaken.
Possibly. There was a point where he did that. Yeah, his car stopped.
And then everyone like splits and with strategy, and next thing you know, Logano's up front. And I'm like, that's when I woke up and they came back to Logano being up front. I was like, what the heck happened? And then I thought I thought we were starting like Stage 2. No, we only had like a 2-lap dash or whatever it was, and blah blah blah, whatever. Logano ends up winning Stage 1 after all of that anyways over Alex Bowman. And then it was pretty well after that kind of moment. It felt like the race kind of fell back in line to Denny Hamlin, who went on to win Stage 2 and the race. But Stage 2 is where I kind of got like a little bit annoyed with the race, where it was, I feel like we're still like the short track racing is still better now than what it was, but watching Denny Hamlin struggle to pass 32nd late in that stage was really frustrating. Now I understand Stenhouse was the car that he was like really struggling and to pass. I understand Stenhouse had 50 lap fresher tires than Denny Hamlin did. But then that brings up a whole other thing of like, Elliott had 50 lap fresher tires, and it took him like that whole run just to even get semi close to Hamlin.
Well, yeah, and that also brings up the point of if he did have 50 lap fresher tires, then why was Hamlin even there to pass him in the first place? Why wasn't Stenhouse just running away with it if tires really were making that much of a difference? Spoiler, they weren't. And
I mean, it seemed like it made a difference after like 100 laps, but. Like we shouldn't have to be waiting, for like 40 minutes for something to happen with the tires. But yeah, I mean Hamlin was struggling to
And
pass
I
the
can't
lap
even
cars
fault
and
Goodyear
just
for that
frustrated.
one.
No, I mean it's a tricky situation because I feel like they're getting more aggressive with it.
I
So
think,
that's
unless
good.
I'm wrong, but I think the tire that they're bringing is the softest they can go. They can't go any softer than that. If they do, the tires will not hold up. They will not be structurally sound. They cannot go any softer than what they're currently doing. So, we're getting back to the point again of NASCAR needs to do something, and they aren't. And, I think for pretty much every short track but Martinsville, we've seen these tires make good changes, and they've changed the racing for the better in a pretty significant chunk. But not so much in Martinsville. It's just Martinsville is such a different track. It's for
Flat.
as small as it is, as flat as it is very aero dependent. And with how aero dependent these cars are, it makes it so bad. And like you said, it has improved from when we first had this next gen product on Martinsville. But it's still bad. It's still real bad.
And just overall, I mean, outside of Hamlin, in stage two, but in the main race as well. Once again, if it wasn't on a restart, I mean, passing just, you
Yeah.
didn't. I didn't see, once Bell and Bubba Wallace settled into the top three in that final run, like
Well,
nothing changed.
it used to be, and we've this same conversation has been said time and time again, but it used to be you go to Martinsville and you see guys take off on the short run, and then if you get a 100 lap run, 30, 40 laps into that, you're seeing passes being made, guys coming up who have saved their tires through the field, all this kind of stuff. You just don't see it now. It's just you take 3 laps to get to settle your positions at the restart, and then you just get in line, and it's just round and round and round and round until the next yellow. Do it again, round and round and round. It doesn't really matter. It's just the car is so aero dependent, and Martinsville is so aero dependent. It's just they can't do anything. They can't pass. Unless they just run over each other, which the
We
Cup
did see a little
guys,
bit.
unlike Xfinity, aren't going to do that to a huge level. They will a bit, but yeah, it's just I don't know. The product on short tracks is better than it was, but Martinsville is always going to show us how good the short track package is, and right now it's showing it's still really rough.
I just find it wild that you still have like some fans that are like, well, this is just as good as Gen 6
No,
Martinsville was. And I'm like, either you didn't watch Gen 6
not even fucking
Martinsville
close.
or you just have, like goldfish type memory because it's a massive difference. I mean, Jay mentioned it
You've
there
never
with the
seen
comers and
Martinsville race
goats.
like that ever.
No, absolutely not. I mean, even, like, I feel like in Gen 6 we would have, like a dominant car, but there and unlike today's next gen era, Martinsville, a dominant car, they take control and there's no passing up front. There's nothing really keeping things interesting because he's not also passing a whole lot of lap cars. Where Gen 6, completely different thing. The leaders having to pass, usually they're lapping up to like the top 20 where and there's passing all over the racetrack. Everyone's beating on each other. Leaning on each other, and there's just always something going on. Whereas like in next gen, we just don't. It's like a lot of the race for 400 laps today. It felt like for like 300 of them at least, there was just not really much actually happening.
But it feels like too, as weird as it is to say about a half-mile flat paperclip track, as weird as it is to say, it feels like the entire time we've had this next gen car at Martinsville, there's just an aero bubble around the entire track, just like you would at Daytona or Talladega. You can't get close and drive up to somebody and push them around and bump them out of the way. You can sometimes, obviously, but it's just it's not like it used to be where you could really bump somebody out of the way, bump and run them, set them up the way you wanted them to, and move them a bit if they're in your way, if they're slower than you. It almost feels like there's the aero bubble now, and whether that's because there actually is with how aero dependent these cars are, or it's just it looks that way because of how dumbass close and together and slot car-y they are, where it's just I don't know. I could rant all day if I wanted to, it's not like the race was god awful. It's not like it
No, it was
was the
not a
first
bad
time we
race.
went there. William Byron led almost every single lap, and it was just a literal parade. It wasn't god awful, but it's not what we should have. It's not what the Cup Series should be. These cars suck, and they need a lot of changes to them, and it's the exact same conversation. I feel like we have this every single week, and I don't know if we're going to stop having this conversation of the cars need to change, and it's getting frustrating.
The race was not bad at all. Overall, I enjoyed it, but yeah, I mean, it's just like, okay, this is still not as good as what we did have. And that's a glaring thing.
Yeah, that's the frustrating part is we have seen what Martinsville can be. We've seen what other tracks can be. We've had it before, and now we don't. And what's the reasoning? I don't know. Yeah, why not?
Save money.
Come on, man.
I've seen people as well.
I don't even think it's that.
People are like, "Oh, it's a good thing, that we got more cars on the lead lap." No, it's not. Not here. It means the leader can't go anywhere. That's a big problem. And that final stage went green for what 100 laps.
Doesn't matter if there's not passing.
Yeah.
Okay, me seeing 25 cars on the lead lap is not going to make me excited. The amount of cars on the lead lap is not the exciting part. Who gives a flying fuck about that? If there's 25 cars on the lead lap, but they're all just following each other and they can't make any passing, why is that more exciting than 10 cars on the lead lap all flying past other cars and trying to pass each other and race each other really hard?
I agree. But as we both said, it was not a bad race. At the end of the day, I was still intrigued and interested. I felt like in the final stage, I think Hamlin really showed his his strength. I felt like he knew exactly what he was doing and how he had to control the race. Because Bell ran him down, but there was not a single point during that moment when Bell got to him. I was like, in reality, Bell has nothing for him.
And it ended up at the end, I think it was 6 seconds behind, right?
I think it was 4.
Something
it might have been more. It might have been more.
It was quite a few behind, and that was very likely a moment of Hamlin being like, yeah, I'm just going to save my stuff, not going to really worry about it. And then, of course, as the long run plays out, he's gone.
So, but, it goes back to what I said. I mean, a lot of that gap came in the last part of the run, which was right around 100 plus laps. So it took the tires that long to really make a difference.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm not saying that it didn't take a while for them to come in, because it definitely did. But again, I'm not really going to shit on Goodyear too much for that. I think they are at the limit of what they're doing what they can. The rest is in NASCAR's hands, and they aren't doing anything.
So in reality, shout out to Goodyear for trying to allow good shows to be had because NASCAR is not touching the car. Joe Gibbs got 1-2 today, and Toyota 1-2-3. Bubba Wallace back-to-back third place efforts. He has been on fire, and also Jay in the point standings. He's up to P8, only 5 points behind his teammate of Tyler Reddick. So Bubba Wallace, I mean, they had a couple rough finishes to start, but they have been on it lately.
Yeah, I think as the Fox broadcast was highlighting earlier, I think that just the overall confidence of Bubba this year is way higher than it's ever been. Of course, he feels like he has a really good relationship with his new crew chief, who I still can't remember the name of.
Some dude.
But they have been firing on all cylinders so far. They haven't gotten a win yet, but they've been running inside the top 5 a lot. They led a lot of laps last week. So it almost kind of seems like so far the performance of the 23 and the 45 have flipped from last season, because Bubba's on fire and Reddick isn't struggling per se. He's ahead of Bubba today in the points, but it feels like Reddick is not performing the way that he was, especially to end last season. It feels like right now he's a little bit worse than Bubba is.
He was kind of mid last week too at a track where we expect him to be, fighting for a win. So, and the only time I really saw him today was when he was turning the 54 around, and
yeah.
Ty Gibbs said he was going to get him after the race. He's, don't let me around him. And then after the race, he got to him, and he just stood there and had a conversation with him. I guess he finally calmed down.
Don't forget the part where he called him little guy, as if he isn't only an inch taller than
2 inches, Jay.
I think it's only an inch.
No, Reddick is 5'5",
and he's 5'6".
He's 5'7".
Oh, you're right. He is 5'7".
But I'm like, come on, man, you can't have a 2-inch
I didn't
advantage
realize.
and,
So
and
after
call
he
him
said
little.
that, I went and looked it up. I didn't realize that Bubba's only 5'6". I didn't realize he was short too.
These guys are short. I know Larson's short too because I stood next to him and he was like, I was like 16 and I was taller than him. I was like, what? But NASCAR drivers are short. There you have it. Ross Chastain finished P6. How about Ryan Preece in the P7? But I think we should point out Joey Logano finally scores a top 10 after wasn't he the last caution? He got spun round.
I can't remember if he was the last one or next to last one, but he was one of them, yes.
And
he was
on
like
the fresh tires,
28th or something.
he carved his way through the field on the fresh tires. So
he
was
one of the
hating
few
on
that
the
could do it.
tires, but there's also some support points there that show that the tires did help in some situations.
Yeah, I think it's just when everybody is on the same strategy as you, which, we had a
Yeah, I
little
think
bit of
that's a
split
good
strategy,
point.
I think, to the middle part of the race. When you're all on or mostly all on the same tires, it's, you're not really going to see that big of a difference unless somebody really is able to save their stuff like Denny Hamlin kind of was. But you get somebody on fresh tires when everybody else is on 80 lap old tires or whatever, then of course, you're definitely going to see the difference then, for sure. And that's what we did there with Logano.
There were some notables in this race that caught my eye for kind of the wrong reasons, but we had, of course, where was it? I was scrolling through. William Byron and Ryan Blaney both kind of surprised me. I expect them to both be in the top 5, and Blaney he was kind of in the top 10 at one point, ended up P11. Byron had a rough day. He was 22nd. We never really saw much out of the 24.
Yeah, Blaney, I mean, to give Blaney credit, he started, I think, 32nd, and I mean, he made his way up into the top 10 at one point, so he at least was able to pass, but like you said, didn't really do a whole lot after that.
Certainly didn't have a bad day. Honestly, I'm sure he's just glad to finish the race. Penske, what was going on with the batteries?
Yeah, I don't know. They had to have Cindric retire because they just ran out of them.
They ran out. How do you run out of batteries?
I don't know. Well,
is it the whole thing we can only bring one backup car, so we're only going to bring one backup battery? Or
well, they had to put one in Josh Berry's car too. So I guess that there was the extra one for Cindric, the extra one for Berry, and I don't know if they put another one in Cindric's car or not. But at some point, you're just going to run out of batteries, and I guess they just kept having battery issues for some reason.
I thought it was coincidental at first because it was like the 21, like he just had the contact in the pit lane with Bubba. And they kind of made that a big deal when they came back from a commercial. And I was like, well, that's a weird way for your battery to have an issue. And then obviously, a little bit later in the race, the 2 car has battery issues. And then again, and then they have no battery to go in the car. And then as well, he also had the cooling suit problem. So Cindric really he didn't have a lot of mechanical luck today. But you know what he did have luck with was his front bumper. And who did he dump? Was it the 35? I think he wrecked Herbst in turn 1 in stage 3, I think it was.
I was not paying attention because something was happening with the Braves game. I'm sorry.
Of course. I said, didn't Cindric wreck, I think it was the 35 of Riley Herbst?
I do not recall, actually.
You don't recall when they were 3 wide and then he just junked the guy right in front of him?
I was half paying attention to the race because it was not god-awfully boring, but it was pretty boring, and I was working on NR 2003 stuff. So
look, this guy's playing NR 2000. The game's 22 years old.
Actually, to make it worse, I wasn't even playing the game. I was working on stats for the season that I just completed.
That's good because spreadsheets are cool.
That's exactly what I was doing. I was on Google Sheets.
Well, let's talk about another driver that was bad. Brad Keselowski again. Bro, started 27th. Yeah. He had a net gain today. He did finish 26th. So he did go forward. I think he
was in the top 10 at one point before he spun or wrecked or something, right?
I don't recall.
There was a moment where he had an issue with somebody.
Crashing.
No, he may not have actually spun, but there was a moment I remember early in the race. I think it was in stage 1 still, where I'm pretty sure he spun somewhere in stage 1, and he was close to the top 10, I think.
Well, he was 4th in stage 1 because he stayed out with that strategy that like Logano and them did to win the stage.
And then he got
cycled to the back after that because he would have pitted. while everyone else stayed out. So I don't. I mean, either way. I mean, whatever happened, still 26. Not a great day for his teammate either, of Chris Buescher, who was in 24th. He had some run-ins with Carson Hocevar, Noah Gregson as well. As much as I like to hate on Carson Hocevar, that was maybe the first time ever that Carson Hocevar wasn't really at fault for an incident, I would say. The 17 just kind of came up and cleared himself.
Yeah, he did,
and wrecked himself. So, unfortunate there. How about Shane Van Gisbergen? Tire falling off his car. He ends up, 5 or 6 laps down at the end of that race, and he finishes 34th. It continues, Jay. And now I start to wonder, because last time we went to Martinsville in the playoffs, he did the cup race, and he was in a colleague car, and he finished 12th. So I'm like, what in the world went wrong here? Like, is it a car problem at this point? I mean, he clearly showed before that it's not going to be it's not a talent issue when he went and ran 12th here just a few months ago.
I think part of it might be car issue. Part of it might be driver skill issue is not the right word to use. Lack of experience, I suppose. Like you said, I mean, last time he was at Martinsville, he did finish okay, and that was in a colleague car. It's just the season overall. I mean, it's just that so far through 7, 8 races, whatever it is, he has had the season from hell. To put it into a way to describe it, it's just things happen every single week out of his control or in his control that just wind up putting him not able to finish inside the top 30. And of course, this week it's the tire falling off, and then he has issues from there. So I don't know. I think that overall, you look at Trackhouse in general, and aside from Chastain, who I think was somewhere in the top 10 by the time the race finished today,
yeah, he was like 6th.
They've been struggling a lot this year. They've had moments of where they've had decent performances, but just, I mean, they've been pretty lackluster so far this season, and it continues for SVG specifically.
It seems like they have like one car that runs good, and then the other two suck.
Yeah, that's been a consistent theme so far for sure.
Suarez ran okay for the last 3, and the other guys struggled. Now Chastain ran good today, and Suarez struggled, and SVG struggled.
Which he's always struggled at Martinsville anyways.
Yeah, he's never been very good there. Short track racing, I don't know what it is for Suarez. He just doesn't. You go to Bristol, he's gonna on a good day he's gonna run 29th at Bristol. But I'm looking at the points. And shout out to Cody Ware. He's now only 1 point behind Jimmy Johnson.
He's still behind Jimmy Johnson?
He's still behind him.
Oh,
so,
Lord.
Next week, all he has to do is
hold on.
start.
Is that with Erik Jones' disqualification? Because if it's not,
he
might be tied with Jimmy Johnson.
Where did Cody Ware finish today? Let's take a look. Hold on. Cody Ware finished in, oh my God, he finished 30th. But the app shows Erik Jones in last.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. The app does show him in last. No, you're right.
Yeah, so he's got one more race. I mean, the bare minimum, all he's got to do is start, because he'll get at least 1 point, and he will be able to tie Jimmy Johnson. Finally, shout out to Cody Ware.
So good.
He is on it.
So good.
Bro is on a roll. But looking at the points following today, William Byron's still at the top over Kyle Larson. Chase Elliott's up to 3rd. Alex Bowman's down to 5th. Bowman, I mean, I know they had to make an additional pit stop that put them back, and then they just never recovered after that, and that puts them down the points a little bit. But so far, I mean, Jay, we got the top 5 drivers currently, all just 36 points apart, so everyone's kind of nice and close. I want to get down to the end of the regular season and see, like, I want to see like 3 or 4 drivers, within like 10, 15 points of each other fighting for like the regular season championship in Daytona. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, it feels like so far this season, which is odd to say considering how much you and I have been talking about how we're 4 years into this car now and the teams are really maximizing their performance with the car. But it feels like so far, and maybe that's just due to the schedule, it feels like we haven't really had a dominant driver this season. Thought early on it was going to be Bell after his hot start to the season. He has kind of cooled off a little bit. Of course, finished 2nd today, so another good result for him. But there's not really a guy right now that I can pinpoint to being like, holy crap, he's dominating the season so far. Again, Bell started off really hot. Byron has led the points from the beginning of the season, so he's having a good year, obviously. Larson's Kyle Larson. We expect him to come on at some point, but it would be nice if this trend continues. And like you said, we get 3 or 4, maybe 5 drivers all close enough to each other to have a close battle for the regular season championship. The points are set up to have us with a close battle like that, of course, only being 1 point per position. Uh, it's just, we get down to it at the end of the regular season every year, and it's always maybe 2 drivers fighting for it. So it'd be nice to have, like you said, to have 3 or 4, if not more, close enough to fight for it this year.
It'll be interesting to watch as the year goes on. So many different types of tracks that will, of course, play a role. The highest Ford in the points, by the way, is P9 with Logano. That's interesting stat there. Other than that, they got 4 Toyotas and 4 Chevys in the top 8. Bubba Wallace P8 with Reddick in 7th. 2311 having a solid start to the year. And then you got Riley Herbst, who's down in 33rd in the standings in his Rookie of the Year fight with SVG, who is only 9 points ahead of currently as it stands. So just looking through any other points maybe that surprised me, but I'm not really seeing much here. I mean, other than like Keselowski's in 30th, but Gibbs is still 31st in the points.
32nd, and Ty Gibbs too. Hocevar,
Gilliland.
it feels like Hocevar being 28th in points is kind of surprising because it feels like he's had good runs to where he should be close to the top 20, but just not getting those finishes, I suppose.
Well, Spire seems to qualify a lot better than they run.
That is very true.
McDowell ran well.
You also you look at Legacy Motor Club currently. John Hunter Nemechek only 2 points out of the 4 points out of the playoffs currently. So they got something going there.
How in the world does that happen?
I don't know.
Where did he finish today?
He's at night. Good question. I have no idea.
John Hunter Nemechek today. Oh, he finished 25th.
Which, I did not realize Chastain has slipped now to 13th in the points.
Yeah,
Trackhouse really is struggling.
Actually, I think he gained a spot. I think he was 14th last week.
Oh, okay. Well, still, he 13th in the points. The next closest is Suarez, 22nd, and then of course you got SVG all the way down in 34th. So I think Trackhouse really is struggling.
And Ryan Preece is putting together some solid efforts lately.
Yeah, he's looked really good so far this season. He's been, I would say, close to Buescher as the best driver for RFK this season. So he's really turned it on this year.
Maybe Keselowski just sacrificed himself. He was like, I'll give up everything just to get that car running good. It's not been pretty for the 6 car, but as well, yeah, I'm looking at Spire, Hocevar 28th, Haley 29th, and then where's Michael McDowell at in the standings? Oh, he's in 15th. Okay, that's quite a big difference. McDowell is putting together a solid season, and he finished top 15 today as well. While his teammates kind of struggled. He finished 12th, so that's a pretty good day for Michael McDowell. He's having a quietly solid season, and I would say of the off-season moves right now, I feel like his is, other than like a Chase Briscoe who's 9th in the points, I'd say McDowell's off-season move to leave front row and go to Spire is actually working out pretty well for him.
I apologize. The Braves are annoying me again. What were you saying?
McDowell has probably had one of the best off-season moves from front row to Spire.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I mean, you look at Spire as a whole, they have been really making gains the last couple of seasons, and they kind of came out of nowhere. They were struggling in the series overall, and then now all of a sudden they've got 3 cup teams. They have 2 or 3 truck teams. And buying out KBM certainly helped them as well. So it's been a really quick turnaround for Spire, and like you said, a really good move for Michael McDowell, currently 15th in the points. Hocevar has looked okay, not gotten the results so far, but I mean, the talent is there. I think for Hocevar, if he can clean up his driving a little bit, I think that will certainly go a long way, as well as with the Cup guys giving him more respect. So Spire overall, they're looking better than you would expect, and McDowell so far is carrying that team pretty hard. But I would expect Tosavar and Justin Haley both to pick up the performances as we go deeper into the season, as we get into the summer months as well.
Should we shift into talking about the Xfinity race now?
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's much else to mention on the Cup side. There wasn't really much else notable that we haven't covered to this point.
Xfinity Series Saturday was quite a talking point for everybody, I would say, and I would say it's safe to say that was just a, one of those examples of a, like a low point of
A race I want to forget.
a race I want to. I don't know. I kind of want to remember it just for the wrong reasons, like use that as the example of what not to do.
Yeah.
It didn't start out. I mean, the first couple stages weren't bad. Connor Zillett showed up, ran P1 in qualifying, and won the first couple of stages, and then he, alongside many others, fell victim to the stupidity of what happened there in stage 3, and that's pretty well what we're here to talk about, because oh my goodness, that was the lack of respect was unbelievable in this race. And it sometimes terrifies me that these are some of the upcoming prospects that we have for like Cup Series, in like 4 or 5 years.
And I do not have the evidence to back this up, because I do not have the memory to back this up. But we talked about how just god awful the Truck Series used to be a few years ago. What happens with the young guys in the Truck Series? They graduate to the Xfinity Series. So are we now seeing those guys going to the Xfinity Series and not cleaning it up, and now they're the issues? Because the Truck Series has gotten super clean, and they've been spectacular the last year and a bit now, ever since really the end of 23, where I believe that was the season where Knoxville happened, and it was just a giant clusterfuck and giant mess. So I don't have the evidence to back it up, but would have to think that some of those drivers graduated to the Xfinity Series, and now it's kind of turned the Xfinity Series into a bit of a crapshoot, especially when you go somewhere like Martinsville. And yeah, that was just the epitome of lack of respect, lack of common sense, lack of restraint, lack of a lot of things, and it led to just pure stupidity. Just a terrible, terrible race, a terrible showing, a terrible example of your talent if you're Sammy Smith, if you're some of the other drivers in that race, which I didn't realize. The incident with Corey Day and I think it was who was in the 25? Harrison Burton, right? I think it was those two. I didn't realize until this morning that Sammy Smith actually bumped Corey Day into the corner and sent him way too quick into the corner, and that's why that whole incident happened. I thought at first that Corey Day just lost talent and missed the corner, but no, he got shipped by Sammy Smith. So, yeah, Sammy Smith was on a absolute tear yesterday as far as I'm just going to destroy everybody in front of me.
There's a few specific incidents I want to talk about, but before we do that, there's the main thing is all I saw on Twitter last night, and I want your opinion on it because I have an opinion on it similar to what we talked about with overtime before. I saw a lot of people on Twitter, overwhelming majority, say it's NASCAR's fault because this is what the playoff format creates.
No.
And I agree with you. No. NASCAR, they create the format of a win and you're in, but I don't know how a guy wrecking a guy for 19th is him trying to win the race, first of all. But NASCAR sets the format, they set these parameters, but they do not tell these drivers how to drive their cars. They expect their drivers to drive their cars and respect their competitors and keep their cars, operate their vehicles in a sportsman-like way. And they're just idiots.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think the only avenue I will take to blame NASCAR is perhaps restricting the Cup drivers from running the lower series. You think about
that and not penalizing
the lower series days. Well, yeah, that too. But you think about the peak of the lower series days is even though it's annoying to watch the Cup guys go down and win those races and dominate the things and all that kind of stuff, it plays a bigger role for the sport overall than I think a lot of us realize at the time. And the Cup guys, you have something get done to you by an Xfinity young guy. As a Cup guy, you are going to get in their face and be like, listen, you don't do that. This is what you're supposed to do. You'll make friends, you'll make connections, and they'll teach you along and all that kind of stuff. And we're just not seeing that nowadays because they don't run those series enough. So yeah, it's just that might be the biggest problem is the Cup guys are not in the lower series to help teach the younger drivers. But at the end of the day, we have said this argument before, and it applies to the Xfinity Series drivers. It applies to no matter what series it's in, it applies. You are the one in control of the car. You are in control of your actions. You are in control of what you do. And you look at the words of Sammy Smith after the race. He goes,
"Oh, that was embarrassing.
Not proud of it, but I had to."
No, you didn't, bud.
Brother, you didn't have to. You didn't have to send it from 3 car lengths back and ship the guy in front of you, destroy his race, and then in the process, destroy your race car and destroy your own race. You did not have to. Second is still a very, very good finish. You don't have to do that. What you could have done there was stay in second, been like, okay, I gave this guy a bump earlier. He gave it back to me. That's fair. I'm cool with second. I'm not going to send it from 3 car lengths back. I will take second place and show that I have the bit of talent, show him the respect that he deserves. He'll show me the respect that I deserve. My team owners will see that. Team owners in the Cup Series will see that, etc., etc., etc. Instead, Sammy Smith decides, nah, I want to win this thing. Send it. And what does he do? Not win it.
He sent it from too far back. He was never going to have a chance to win. You know?
Not at all.
Because
no.
he missed the corner.
He sent it from so far back that he missed the corner, and in doing that, he sent it from so far back, he crumpled his own damn car. He killed his car.
It was Austin
That's
Dillon
how far back
Richmond
he sent it,
levels
how hard
of
he had
scent.
to throw it in there.
It was like that isn't gonna like that should be maybe they will penalize on Tuesday. That in my opinion should be a penalty. I mean, you went in that corner and without any intentions of making that corner.
Exactly.
You wiped him out,
yes.
And then your actions right there proceeded to junk how many cars behind you because of what you instigated in that corner. And I understand if he's right on his bumper and he spins out, but you were I already know you're reacting to a Braves moment.
Dude, I don't want to talk about it. It's so bad.
But
it's so bad. Sorry, go ahead.
He's 3 car lengths back. He sails it off in there. It's no different than Austin Dillon at Richmond. It's just he didn't proceed to hook a guy on the straightaway after. That should be some kind of penalty, in my opinion. But just want to once again say that we need fans that just we got to blame the playoffs, we got to blame overtime. No, please, we need to start holding the drivers responsible for their actions and stop blaming formats for their actions. There's nothing about the format that says, hey, go race like an idiot. Okay, there's nothing in there that says that.
And, I think part of it, too, is maybe you can perhaps shift a little blame to NASCAR and being like, well, they have made to where winning is the only thing that matters nowadays, and that's all that the media has talked about. That's all that NASCAR has promoted. That's all that this and that has done. And it's maybe given these younger guys the mindset of second doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is me winning. And okay, sure, maybe a little bit of fault there can be given to NASCAR. But at the end of the day, winning is not everything. A good finish is a good finish. You can do a lot of things with that. You can build momentum. Your team can be happy with you. Your owner can be happy with you. You can be happy with yourself. You can be good in the points because of that. You can do so many things. You don't have to just win or nothing. It's you don't have to have that mentality, and that's maybe a NASCAR ownership or NASCAR leadership problem, maybe a driver leadership problem from the Cup Series, not teaching them enough. Whatever it is, it can be any number of things. It's just the mentality now is win or I don't care. I don't care if I junk my car. I don't care how it makes my team members feel if they have to repair this thing. I don't care how it makes my owner feel. I don't care how it makes anybody feel. If I can't win, I'm going to just send it and try. And if I can't, oh, well, it doesn't matter. I don't care. I'll go back home and try again next weekend.
I do want to
all over again.
I do want to know how Dale Jr. feels about Sammy Smith because
Yeah,
I would be
would
angry.
like to think, based on his tweets, that he also realizes that Sammy Smith needs to be talked to. Because I would
Yeah.
imagine that when Junior's tweeting like that, he's also tweeting about his own drivers. I would like to think he's not that delusional.
Shout out to Justin Allgaier. He was right in the thick of all of that and raced clean the whole time.
Yeah,
And
yes.
almost
Showing how
won.
you should race.
Almost won, but gets caught up in the mess his teammate caused. So, and then Austin Hill slips through on the inside and wins the race. And there was a couple, like I said, specific incidents I wanted to highlight. Sam Mayer, I mean, keeps going like, well, why ain't I in the Cup Series? And then he proceeds to dump Eckes down a straightaway because you couldn't lift.
Commentary seemed to want to put that blame on Daniel Dye for just sending it into the corner, which of course he did. But then on the exit of the corner, they're all fine, but Sam Mayer just keeps his foot
plow
in the gas
through.
and just drives right through Eckes. Like, it makes no sense.
Congratulations to Austin Hill on that one restart where Eckes moves him, and then in the next corner he bulldozes Eckes and wipes out the two cars, including his teammate in front of him. I'm like, oh my god, that right there was like, man, we're really losing this race here. And it just kept on going until we got to the overtimes and all chaos breaks. And I mean, it's the big topic is Sammy Smith. I mean, for right reason, like you said. I mean, the second to last restart, he moves Taylor Gray out of the way. I mean, he in the choose cone chose to line up behind him. And didn't hesitate in turn one and just knocked him out of the way. And then we, of course, go into the next restart. Taylor Gray gives the exact same thing back to him, moves him up the track.
Which I would argue much cleaner, by the way. He did it in a much better way.
I would say so. And he was really smart about it. You could tell he was trying to not let Sammy Smith get in behind him. He was backing it up to keep him alongside him. And then, of course, we come to the final lap. Finally, we get to the final lap of this race. And then Sammy Smith goes and does what he does and embarrasses himself, embarrasses the series. But he wasn't the only one that embarrassed the series. Of course, there was several drivers that embarrassed the Xfinity series on Saturday. I don't even know like where anybody finished. I mean, like, let's look at this finishing order. Sheldon Creed ended up second. Again. That's funny.
Yep.
Some surprise names like Brennan Poole, Dean Thompson in the top two. Chris Wright finished 9th.
Oh, dear God. That's how you know it was a dumb race.
He's going to milk that for the rest of the season.
He's going to milk that for the rest of his career.
Oh, my God. That's something. Who is Patrick Staropoli? Because I heard about him a few times throughout the race. Patrick Star.
He's eye doctor, I think it is specifically. He is a doctor, but I believe it's an eye doctor.
But he's not like a dentist LMP driver, is he? Or
well, no, I don't think so. I learned after the race that he when he went to the Michael Waltrip driving or not, he went to the Michael Waltrip development program like back in 2014 or something like that. And was in NASCAR racing in, I think it was K&N and stuff like that for a few years, and then just decided to eventually go become an actual doctor. And I guess now he's come back to try and do a bit of racing, I suppose.
I'm sure a doctor job pays pretty well.
He was trying to actually do some racing when he was younger, but it didn't work out. And of course, he had just graduated from Harvard, so he became a doctor, but he's back.
Shout out to Patrick Staropoli. Ends up P16. Kvapil, Day 20th and 21st. Zilic ends up 28th. Sawalich in 27th. Sanchez was 32nd. He was one of the drivers that got junked. I think that was the one when Mayer wrecked, what's his face, Eckes.
Sawalich was another torpedo. I believe Sawalich was the one who wrecked Connor Zilic.
I think you're right. Yeah.
I know
Zilic got wrecked like 3 times in the last stage.
Yeah.
Like, bro, I mean, wins the first 2 stages, and then unfortunately he gets introduced to the embarrassment the series can sometimes be. He just gets ran over 3 times.
Yep.
Unfortunate, but at least we're going to Darlington next weekend, where usually Xfinity puts on like one of the best shows you'll see in all 3 series all year. I wonder if Denny Hamlin's doing the Xfinity series race. That will be really cool.
Not a clue, actually.
Yeah, I have no idea. But I think that's pretty well all we have for Xfinity, unless there was something specific else that you wanted to maybe mention there.
We pretty much covered all of the main incidents that I have on my mind. There was other things that we could bring up and mention, and I mean there was a host. There was double digit amount of cautions we could go through and pick at them, but we got our points across of it was really stupid, and I don't want to see it happen again, but it will.
It will. Truck series, like I said, I didn't watch the truck race because I forgot it was on. Um, Hemrick won. You didn't watch, did you?
I did, but I
Oh,
didn't
you
pay a
did.
whole lot of attention to
Okay.
it. I
Was there a
I
Braves game?
didn't. Yes,
I
that's
can't
that's
wait
why
for
I
baseball to
was.
be over.
It's game
All you
four of
do is watch
162.
baseball.
Excuse me?
Yeah. I mean, I get it. All I do is watch race cars, but I mean, come
I
on
was
now.
about to say there was a NASCAR race on today. When's the last time you missed a NASCAR race?
The last time I missed a NASCAR race.
Of your own volition without having something to do that kept you from watching it.
I mean, I haven't had that happen either. I've always found a way to at least tune in. Let's see.
Cup Series race
2000,
specifically, I'll make that.
2000 and it would have had to been 2012. Yeah. Cuz it
That's
was
probably about the same for me, 2011 or 2012.
cuz it was like I could only watch the Fox portion of the year, and then
Okay.
right at the tail end of that year, TSN became basic cable package. And next
Really?
thing you know, yeah, because it was not like basic.
Wow.
You had to pay extra money before for TSN. Now it's just basic. So then I could finally watch all the races. So it's been a
It's
while.
probably about the same for me, but I definitely missed some Braves games last year. So really, am I that big of a baseball fan if I've missed some of their games within the last year?
Well, you have like 180 games.
That's not the point.
There's 36 NASCAR races.
That's not the point.
I don't know. I
You're
disagree.
changing your narrative now.
I change my narrative on the fly to always to try and help me, no matter what. I am a huge hypocrite, and I will look for any narrative spin up to just continuously put something into my favor.
As if I don't know that by now.
Exactly. So, can't really comment much on the truck race, and which kind of puts us in. I thought IndyCar was on today at Long Beach.
Yeah, I did too. I think we both thought that, but it's not until 2 weeks from now, I think.
2 weeks. It's not next weekend?
I believe it's the 13th.
What a disaster that series is. My goodness.
Yeah,
Go away for a month, and then we'll see you in 3 weeks again.
Yep.
Shout out to IndyCar.
Sunday, April 13th. So
Oh
2
my
weeks.
God. What a joke that is. How in the world did we think it was today?
I don't know. I think.
Well,
you
they've been
thought it was
talking about the
today,
race
and then
a
I
lot.
just kind of went along with you because I didn't actually look it up, and then I did at one point and realized it was not till 2 weeks.
Well, they've been marketing the race, so I figured I was like, oh, okay. It's this weekend. And it was at the end of stage one. I was like, well, let's see what's going on in IndyCar. And I was like, oh, there's nothing here. And we had no Formula One either. But we do have F1 coming up this weekend in Japan, so we will make our predictions for that. And I think that's pretty well it. A pretty short show for us this week compared to the one we did just a few days ago, which was almost 2 hours. We're less than an hour by about 5 minutes here. So yeah, I think
Look at us.
look at us. I told you, I was like, it's probably only going to be like an hour, and I was right. I mean, we got our points across, I think, very well in today's episode. And
They're pretty much the same points we've been spewing for quite a while now. So it's at this point, it's just starting to become a little bit recycled.
there's an alternate version every week.
Yep.
So we will move into our race picks then. We don't have trucks this weekend, so we just have Cup and Xfinity, and then we'll have our F1 pick as well. But Jay has been correct on the NASCAR Cup Series side the last 2 weeks. He had Larson in Miami. He had Hamlin today. I had Elliott today, who led the second most laps. So at least we picked the drivers that led the most laps, I guess. But that means, again, you get to go first for Darlington Cup Series. Who do you think is going to win Darlington?
My gut tells me to go with Hamlin again, but I just don't know if he will win this. We're choosing Cup Series, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, my gut tells me to go with Hamlin. I just don't think he'll win again. Give me Kyle Larson.
That's fair. If you're not going to take Hamlin, then I'm going to take Denny Hamlin this time. So I will go with Denny Hamlin. Jay will go with Kyle Larson. Xfinity side of things, I picked Sawalich, you picked Almirola, which means you won at least in Almirola beat Sawalich. So we can put Denny Hamlin in the roster as if he is in the race. You can pick him. We don't know if he is.
Yeah,
But
not sure if there's an entry list currently for the race or not. I don't believe there will be an entry list yet. So, however, I don't know. Yeah, if Hamlin's in it, I would choose Hamlin. If he's not in it, I'm gonna go out on a limb here. If it's not Denny Hamlin, give me Connor Zilisch.
that's funny because that was going to be who I was going to pick. I've been way off on my Xfinity picks this year.
Yeah, I think we both have.
Let's see. I'm just scrolling through the points. I'm going to go with the 7. I'm going to go with Justin Allgaier. And so we're going JRM themed for Xfinity. Formula 1 will be the Suzuka Japanese Grand Prix, another really early morning race.
Do we know if there's a Hendrick driver racing Darlington this weekend?
That's, you know what? There's probably
would think Byron or Larson would be.
I think it might be.
But again, I don't think we'll know at this point.
Hendrick Xfinity roster 2025 or Ross. That's not what I want, but schedule. Here we go. They're running in 16 races, so I would have to imagine Darlington's going to be on that. Let's see. Do they not have? Oh, they do have the schedule. When's the race? April 5th. Chase Elliott.
Yes.
Chase Elliott's in the car.
Oh, Chase Elliott. Okay.
I mean, he could be okay. He's won Darlington before in an Xfinity car. That was his, wasn't that his first win or was his second? I think his first was Texas over Elliott Sadler, and then he won Darlington. That was all in like 2014. I'm also not going to pick Chase Elliott. So Formula 1 Suzuka. Jay picked. Who did you pick? You picked Lando Norris in China.
Okay.
And I picked Verstappen, so that means that you were up on me again. So who do you have?
Wait, what? Did Max not finish P2?
No, Norris finished P2. Verstappen wasn't even on the podium.
Man, I really don't remember the Chinese.
It was Piastri, Norris, Russell, the podium.
Oh.
I think Verstappen was 4th. He might have even been 5th.
Huh. All right. That shows how little I remember that race and how little.
There wasn't much that happened. It was pretty boring.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was like 5 in the morning.
It's Japan this time. I don't know if either McLaren driver will win in Japan. It's hard to choose against Verstappen. If I don't go McLaren, give me Verstappen.
I'm going balls to the wall with my pick.
Don't tell me you're going Yuki Tsunoda.
I'm going Yuki Tsunoda.
Oh my
Home
God.
race. First race for Red Bull. He's going to put Liam Lawson in his place. And Yuki Tsunoda is going to show up and do a Verstappen 2016 Spanish Grand Prix where he is going to win the race in his first drive for Red Bull after the driver that he's taking over got demoted the week before. And it's going to be because the two McLarens wipe each other out in turn 1 after taking the front row. Calling it now. And it's going to be because Lando Norris throws a fit that he's losing the lead. Oh, 100%.
Huh. Okay.
Actually, I think something's gonna go in favor of Yuki that allows him to like win over Verstappen.
I'm not gonna sit here and say that I don't want that to happen because I like Yuki a lot. So if that does happen, I'm all in favor.
I mean, we know he's not quicker than Max, but you never know. I mean, we say that, but who knows? Maybe he is quicker.
Yeah, technically we haven't gotten to see him go up against Verstappen yet. You know, he could be secretly like the greatest in the world. We just hadn't seen that yet, you know?
Well, I think we will find out this weekend. So we'll see. So once again, looking at the picks, Jay has Larson. For Cup, I have Hamlin. I imagine those two will probably run top 3 all race. Jay's got Zilich, and I have Allgaier for Xfinity. Jay has Verstappen, I have Tsunoda. So we got both Red Bull drivers occupied for Japan. I could just go the easy route and take like a Lando Norris, but I'm just going to have hope in the Tsunoda situation. So other than that, that's going to wrap it up already for us. We're pretty well right at an hour. So Darlington next weekend, Suzuka. We'll have surely an interesting race to talk about because Darlington's is just always a fun one to watch. And, those guys getting up on the wall and having to keep it off the wall. And wall is not as deadly as it used to be with these cars being so strong and whatnot with their composite bodies. But it's still going to be a fun race to watch. And Jay, do you have any final thoughts?
Not a whole lot. Looking forward to Darlington next weekend. Darlington's always fun for Xfinity and for Cup. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to the throwbacks.
They need to get trucks there.
I agree. They do
IndyCar.
need to get the truck series there. I don't know about that one.
Supercars.
I agree that IndyCar should be in a lot of ovals. I don't know if Darlington is one of the ovals they should go to.
They should put Supercars on the Charlotte Oval.
I do want to see
We're gonna
Supercars
try
come
that
to America and do an oval race and just see how it goes. Just
There you
throw
go.
them on there, see how it goes.
I think they could put a good show on an oval. I think they're gonna try it at some point, and they're gonna realize it's like the coolest thing ever, and then like they're gonna like become NASCAR is gonna buy them, and then it'll be the NASCAR Australian Series, and then they'll be primarily like oval racing.
They did have an oval track in Australia that NASCAR went to at one point. I forget the name of it, but I don't
I
think
think
it
I know what
exists
you're
anymore
talking
either.
about. Yeah. Well, let's get on it. They even got dirt tracks over there in Australia. Like let's put them on a dirt oval.
Oh man, that'd be fantastic.
This is a plan that's going to happen in by 2030. I'm calling it now. It'll be the NASCAR
Make us the
Australia
CEO
Series.
of Supercars. You'll see some cool
We'll
stuff
have more
happen.
than one race a month.
Yeah, and we won't have 4 races that can't be shown on TV because of the FIA.
Exactly. We just won't go to Albert Park because screw that.
And that always have to be shortened because they have too many series there at once and they don't have enough time for all the racing to go on track, and they just, for some reason, continue to schedule it that way.
Exactly. All right. That's it for us. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you for listening as usual on YouTube, Spotify, the other things as well. We'll see you soon. Stay safe, stay healthy. Have a good one. See you next week.